This morning, Drew Peterson is facing a cold reality inside his jail cell. He is probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Peterson was sentenced yesterday to 38 years for the murder of his wife, Kathleen Savio, after his request for a retrial was denied. It was a contentious day in the courtroom. At one point, Peterson yelled out that he did not kill Savio. The victim's family says that outburst is just another example of the abuse she endured.
It's scary because this is what my sister had to go through. This is what happened behind closed doors. This is what happens to victims of domestic violence, the faces that we don't see.
Peterson is getting 4 years credit for the time he spent behind bars. Even so, he won't be eligible to get out of prison until he's into his 90s.
All right, let's talk about what happened in court yesterday. Here with us, one of Drew Peterson's defense attorneys, Joe Lopez. Joe, thanks for stopping by. Good day, Chicago. You know, I want to ask because we heard about the outburst where he said, I didn't kill Kathleen. Later, we heard prosecutor James Glasgow say that's the side of Drew Peterson that killed Kathleen. That there was a glimpse to this other side of him. What did you make of those comments?
Well, I don't know what to make of the comments. It certainly didn't seem that like that to me. It was just somebody blowing off steam inside the courtroom. He's got years of frustration, pent up anger against the old in-laws, so to speak. They never got along when they were married, and they certainly didn't get along during the trial.
Right. Joe, 38 years, is that about what you expected? A little less, a little more, what?
Well, Corey, to be honest with you, I expected a little bit more than that. I thought he would get somewhere closer to the 60. The 38, I think, was based on the fact that he was a patrol officer for a number of years. He had condemnations. He was a good police officer. He served in the military, and I think the judge took all of that into consideration. Plus his age. We know he's going to be in there for a long time.
So we got to talk about Drew's law as well, the law that was basically passed to allow hearsay in this case and allow prosecutors to convict your client. Do you think without that being passed that he would be going to prison right now?
Well, there's two things in that regard. One, there was Drew's law, plus they used common law forfeiture. I think without the hearsay being admitted in this case, we certainly wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And as you look back to the trial in its entirety, do you have second thoughts about the way you approached it? Do you look back and say we should have done this, we should have done that? For example, the Harry Smith testimony that everyone's talked about backfiring on you. If that hadn't happened, would things have been different?
Well, I don't know if things would have been different. I think Harry Smith was just one part of it. Neil Shorey was another part of it. That's where the hearsay comes in. When you look back, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. Sometimes it's better not to call any witnesses, but in this particular case, witnesses were called and hearsay was admitted. And I think hearsay is the big problem with the whole case.
Have you had a chance to talk with Drew after this the sentencing?
Well, I just talked to him yesterday. We shook hands. He thanked me. I told him that in the future, if it comes back, I'd be more than happy to give it another go.
Okay, and the idea of an appeal. Talk about that.
Well, what's going to happen now, there's a notice of appeal will be filed. The appellate court will set a schedule for arguments. Briefs will be prepared. There'll be an oral argument sometime down the road. There'll be a decision. Whatever that decision is will probably be appealed to the state Supreme Court. If they hear it, then the whole process will start over again. It's a long process. Could be anywhere between 24 and 36 months.
And one that you're not going to be involved with, you said, right? You're kind of done with this case.
Yeah, I am done. I'm not going to be on the appeal. We're not sure who's going to do the appeal, but there's certainly people who have come forward that are volunteered to do the appeal because it is a very interesting issue from an attorney's perspective.
Could go up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
It could go to the U.S. Supreme Court depending on what happens here in the state of Illinois, and they could decide to either take it or not take it.
All right, Joe Lopez, thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.